So our lead this hour coming from the NBA. It was a winner-take-all Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Compliments of the Miami Heat epic performance back in Game 6. Now, I don't know if you saw the game back on Friday night, but Jimmy Butler answering the call, a MALLER pep talk, back-to-back stinkers for Jimmy Buckets, and he stepped up in Game 6. He'd have to do it again. Do it again in Game 7. So the scene shifting back to South Florida. There has been very little home court advantage in this series. Would that continue to the victor? Goes the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. So Game 7, did you watch? Did you stop what you were doing to watch? Maybe not. Jason Tatum was not the greatest version of Jason Tatum, but he had 26 points, and the Celtics led from start to finish, from alpha to omega, and they hold off the Heat and come back to the NBA Finals. The Celtics are back in the Finals, 196. The victory. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown each had 24. Is that threesome, the top three, Tatum, Smart, and Brown, enough? Tatum ends up winning the MVP. They've decided to give out conference finals MVPs now. They've got a big name on it and all that, so Jason Tatum won that. And Jimmy Butler, the Butler, another solid game from Jimmy Butler, 35 points, 9 rebounds, but a loss. Now, neither team shot the ball particularly well. The Celtics came out like gangbusters, started the game like gangbusters, and then they built up a 17-point lead, and then they held on for dear life. Because there was a lot of moments there where you're like, all right, they're going to choke. They're going to be the choking dog and need the Heimlich maneuver. But they ended up pulling it out. So Boston, as we mentioned, they're going to the finals there. They will open things up in the Bay Area. San Francisco, be there, be square later this week. Television gets the matchup they wanted. Remember, we talked about this prior to the finals, the NBA Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals before it began. We said, well, what does television want? Television wants Golden State and Boston, and what television wants, television gets. So let us discuss the question. How impressed are you with the Celtics beating the Heat in 7 games? So on the MALLER scale of impressed, 1 to 10, with 10 being the very top, this is a 6. It is only a 6 on the MALLER scale of impressed. Not an overly impressive performance for the Celtics. I've got hand grenades, mulligan, and battle-tested. And we will combine all of these random things together, and that will be the bedrock of this MALLER monologue. So, from a pure talent standpoint, if you're handicapping the Eastern Conference Finals, and we did that, you look at the rosters side by side, and you say, okay, the Celtics are better. Now, the better team doesn't always win, but they were favored for a reason from the bookmakers, expected to win this series. No extra credit is given, no pats on the back for doing what you were supposed to do. And Jimmy Butler is the only A-level player, top-shelf player on the Heat. The secondary guys on Miami are lacking. The Celtics are supreme in that category, side by side. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and a wink and a nod to a player who's playing above his means, Al Horford, the glue guy. Celtics have a couple of glue guys. They got Marcus Smart and Al Horford. But Boston had the Heat on the ropes. This series should have ended prior to getting to a Game 7. Several points in this series are like, all right, Boston's going to win this. It's not going to go to 6, 7, whatever. Each time Miami was able to slither like a snake their way back in, and the Celtics, they ended up surviving, but they were juggling live hand grenades going into a Game 7. Now, they were able to escape. They pulled the Houdini out, but needing a Game 7, they were then at the mercy of what? Snap, crackle, pop, goes the season. All it took was a twisted ankle for Jason Tatum or a toe injury to Marcus Smart or a wrist injury to Jaylen Brown, and then you have reservations at the Heartbreak Hotel. Did that happen? No, it did not happen. So now they're on to the NBA Finals. Now, Part B, in the losing locker room we go. Does Jimmy Butler get the blame for the Heat losing Game 7 at home? So I'm going to go no on this. He gets the mulligan, the Maller mulligan. We don't give out many Maller mulligans, but we give that out to Jimmy Butler here. Now, if you missed it, the turning point moment in the fourth quarter, if you saw the game, you know what I'm talking about here, but it happened with less than 20 seconds left. Miami was trailing by 2. It's a 98-96 game. Marcus Smart had somehow missed a driving layup. Bad job by him. Jimmy Butler then gets the rebound. And in transition for the Heat, Al Horford was in front of him, but he was he looked like a French soldier going backwards. And so Jimmy Butler had a decision to make. Down 2. Al Horford in front of you, the lane pretty much clear other than Al Horford. Do you A, go to the basket like a bull and try to stuff it in the face of Al Horford? B, shoot a three-point shot? Or C, dribble, set the offense up? Well, turns out Jimmy Butler decided on B. He took a running pull-up, 28-foot three-pointer with a little less than 17 seconds to go in the game. And how did that go? Clankety-clank. He missed it, and it wasn't even close. And so Jaylen Brown gets the rebound, and that was all she wrote for Miami. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. A game they never led. There were no lead changes in the game. Boston scored and led from beginning to end, as we mentioned. And people are killing Jimmy Butler here. He's a notoriously bad three-point shooter. And I believe the number is 22% of threes he made this year. And since he got to South Florida, the number is less than 25% overall. But I give him the Maller mulligan. Jimmy Buckets has shown to be a clutch player. I would rather have him shoot the shot than set the offense up. And if he felt comfortable he could make that shot, I'm okay with that. Butler was neutralized in games 4 or 5. If you're going to be upset with Butler, you don't be upset with him over game 6 or 7. You're annoyed with him because of what happened back in game 4 and 5. That's the bigger issue. There was redemption here in game 6 and 7 for Jimmy Buckets. A little tough love. Maller pep talk. Worked out. You start playing the what if. The ifs and buts were candy and nuts. It'd be Christmas every day, and you'll drive yourself insane. And now, as far as looking forward, what must the Heat do? Well, the obvious answer. You don't have to be some kind of NBA expert to know reinforcements. Miami has to use that sunshine and the palm trees to get another frontline player. Jimmy Butler has the opportunity here to be a master recruiter, and he has to. Game 7 was a living example and a reminder of how weak the secondary players are, that this Heat team overachieved during the regular season. And so congratulations on them having the top record, but Tyler Hero, who played like he didn't want to play. 7 minutes, that's it. He was injured. Way to suck it up, rub some dirt on it. Good job by Tyler Hero, unless it wasn't. Victor Oladipo, how'd he do? Kyle Lowry scored a few points. Max Strus, P.J. Tucker, they combined for 32 points. That's an average of 8 points per Heat key player. Three of them are starters. P.J. Tucker, Strus, and Kyle Lowry, and Oladipo off the bench. Not good enough. Clearly have to fortify the roster. All right, last word here. So we have Warriors and Celtics, our first peek at the NBA Finals starting this week. Which team has had the more impressive playoff resume getting to the finals? Warriors or Celtics? That's the toss-up question. And I am going with Boston. Advantage Boston. The Golden State Warriors have had an easier road to the playoffs. So if you play the resume game, that's not good for Golden State. It's not, right? They traveled down the path of least resistance, had the Nuggets in the opening round without Jamal Murray, down for the count, played the Grizzlies, and they ended up losing Ja Morant to injury, their headliner. Played the Mavericks, who are a one-man band, a bit of a fluke themselves, playing the Dallas club playing Utah, which is a flawed team, and then the Phoenix Suns, who imploded with old man Chris Paul doing what he always does, losing a key playoff game. But you got Luka, and then you got a bunch of scrubs. Dallas was without Tim Hardaway Jr., one of the other players that is conceivable would have played a big role in that series. Now, meanwhile, we're playing the resume game. Boston's got a more impressive resume. They ran the gauntlet here. More battle-tested this year, in the here and now. Taking out Brooklyn, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving in the first round. The Greek Freak eliminated by the Celtics, the reigning champions, eliminated by the Celtics. And then the Heat, the number one overall seed in the Eastern Conference, and winning a Game 7 on the road. So now we see if the resume matters at all, whether the resume impacts the outcome. Being battle-tested, does that actually matter? Will that pay off for the Celtics, or is that just noise? Is that just a little bit of noise? We'll find out.